Cameras are rolling.
What board good hit?
Cameras are rolling.
RNDM cuts. Pre-production already demonetized. What are you guys doing? This is not a state.
We're smoking legal tobacco.
This is
legal tobacco.
This is all CBD right here. This is THC free weed. Yo, what up? RNDM cuts
for
the least informative.
Who knew we would get here?
The least informative podcast on Reddit. We won the award. We won the award.
Now, see, you focusing on the negative. We got way more positive feedback than we got negative.
Oh yeah. Well, shout out to all those people who gave us some feedback. You threw it up on Reddit. We got what?
Fucking
600 times the views.
Yeah, we got like fucking. It was at 17 views in one Reddit post.
Yeah, we
got fucking like I would think my video is encroaching on 800 views now. So it's power of social media.
There we go. So what are we going on about today?
We got a lot of different things that we've been considering because I've been doing a bit more thinking about the podcast as the week. Like in my daily life, I've been having conversations trying to like, you know what I'm saying, spark my head and spark other people's head just so our conversations on here are more compelling. And like yesterday I started talking to mama about the whole political apathy, national politics bullshit that I was talking to you about. That it seemed like you was
right from the rip. Let's just jump into the deep end. Political apathy.
Let's jump into it, bro. This random.
What are your thoughts on political apathy? This
random cuts episode 4, man. My thoughts on political apathy is that I'm feeling a lot of it right now.
Oh shit!
As a 19-year-old who was just able to vote in some local elections in Wisconsin for my first time. I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do, and you know, it was my first time being able to vote. So, and it was pretty easy. But I just feel like.
Do you regret it?
No, it wasn't.
Would you take it back if you could?
No. I'm glad I participated in the political process for my first time, but I just don't. As I've been learning a bit more about how government works and how the elections work, and the 2016 election was my first time experiencing, you know, a real election through and through from front to back and actually being able to pay attention because I was in high school and, you know, my teachers consistently were talking about it, and, you know, the news just was Donald Trump,
right?
You know, and it kind of still is. So it was really surreal for me to see the whole process go down. But afterwards, and I'm just, you know, I'm watching different movies. I'm reading different shit about how, like, I know that in a lot of different states, it's this, and I told you about this, and it seemed like you, like, I don't know, was just like whatever.
Oh yeah, the injustices of the U.S. political system.
I believe at least in national politics and maybe in local politics. Mm-hmm. A regular citizen's citizen's vote, like you and I, it doesn't really do much, and that I think that because I feel like I heard about the whole thing that happened in West Virginia, or was it? Yeah, I think it was West Virginia when it came to the primaries. I think all 55, the majority of people, you know how the primaries work, where it go county by county, and then they count all this shit up, and then it go to the super delegates. Mm-hmm. The majority of people in every county in West Virginia, all 55 counties, voted for Bernie, but somehow, some way, Hillary ended up with winning that state because of some weird super.
Bernie didn't have the backing bullshit of the establishment.
He did not.
Democrats. He was like the guy coming out of left field that they were saying was like a socialist.
Yes, and I heard that happen in a lot of different states. And the fact, and if you want to go further into the final round of what we call the political process to elect the leader of this country, the Electoral College, I think, fucked everybody who wanted one thing. I think democracy is one vote, one person. All this weird, we need the electoral college because then New York and California decide everything is bullshit. If the majority of people in the country want a certain thing, then we should have this. We shouldn't be using this fucking weird ass jigsaw puzzle from a time when people couldn't get across state lines without dying. Express. Yeah, niggas was dying in between states. Niggas like you couldn't get a fucking fever unless. Oh my god! Like, why are we still subscribing to this antiquated bullshit?
Well, I think every sane person agrees that you probably should just go with the popular vote instead of this. But the superdelegate thing is a different thing. The superdelegate thing is a thing within the Democratic Party. They don't have superdelegates for the Republicans.
The superdelegates exist. What do you mean they don't have superdelegates? The superdelegates exist on the state level.
It's a Democrat thing. It's part of the Democratic.
How do you know this?
In American politics, a super Democrat is an unpledged delegate to the Democratic National Convention who is seated automatically and chooses for themselves who they vote for. Those Democratic Party superdelegates, who make up slightly under 15% of all convention delegates, include elected officials and party activists and officials. So these superdelegates don't have to go for the will of the people in that area. They can choose for themselves that's within the Democratic Party.
And that's bullshit.
That's a Democratic Party thing. This is the Bernie thing that you are talking about.
And that's bullshit.
That the people wanted Bernie, but some of those super delegates probably said fuck Bernie.
At two different points, and we don't know how much shit went on with the whole Russia collusion. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm not so well informed on Russia and fucking
it's a big fucking
Mitch
thing.
McConnell and Comey and all that bullshit.
You'd have to donate a lot of your time to sit and figuring out that shit.
I'm trying to put my life together. But I feel like the political process is just a fucking farce in this country. And let's say I do believe Bernie, because I want to believe Bernie. I want to believe that Bernie is a nigga who thinking about his past and coming from just being a regular citizen. But I don't.
Bernie's pretty old right now. I kind of don't. I would like somebody who maybe.
I don't give a fuck if Bernie is old. He seems like the most qualified. I don't
know. You don't want 78-year-olds killing over in office. Let's go for a younger guy with some more representation that we can probably get a lot more out of.
Show me a candidate that I can believe like Bernie. And like I said, I don't even fucking believe Bernie all the way, because he still get money from the same people that Obama got money from.
You're not voting for Beto?
Clinton got money from.
O'Rourke?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here.
Look him up. That's the guy. I mean, dude, we can't be having a political discussion now, and you're not following the current day
I'm just talking
affairs
about. I'm not talking
Beto
about
O'Rourke.
I don't give a fuck about Beto. I'm just talking about how I feel like.
Well, this is the thing that I was getting on about the other day that made this comical. This is what made this comical to me the other day. That this is like a realization that you just came to.
I'm 19. I was just able to vote for my first time. You acting like I was supposed to come to this realization.
You've been watching Joe Rogan since you were 16. You should know better already. Like, what the fuck?
I'm just now
being able to have... that the political system in America is a corrupt one and an unfair one and a rigged one and doesn't follow the will of the people. This is not new information. So when you told me this and when you said I wasn't reacting, it's because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
But you still choose to vote. Why?
Because, I mean, who cares if I do one way or the other? If it doesn't matter, then who cares? I don't care enough to take some political stand and be like, I'm just not going to vote.
How is that a political stand? It seems like you're taking a political stand by voting for
whatever is dished
out to you.
You're taking you letting something, politics dictate one way or another
I guess
you vote or not.
But why waste the time of going down to the fucking office and just...
Because, hey, on the off chance that it will matter, I can say I did my part at least.
I guess.
If it doesn't, what is my alternative? To sit at home and just be like...
Like I said, maybe local stuff is better. You know what I'm saying? I participated in the most recent local stuff. I
did too.
Most recent local election in Wisconsin.
For the first time, I think.
For the first time, you know what I'm saying? I don't regret it. I wouldn't go back and change it. But I just feel like... I don't know, like maybe I need to just be more politically informed, but it just seems like at every point our politicians are bought and sold, and it doesn't really matter what the will of the people are. And yeah, you could say that it's been that way from the beginning of time, but
hey, pick between those lesser of two evils. I mean, you still got
out of here.
You still got Donald Trump.
I refuse to.
But
honestly, I don't give a fuck if. I'm glad that we got Donald Trump. At least he fucking entertaining. Hillary would have just been doing the same shit robotically.
Do we need our president to be entertaining though?
Yes, nigga. Yes.
Why?
Because then maybe we won't make this dumbass decision next time. Maybe we'll be a bit more careful. Maybe we'll give a nigga like Bernie.
So are you saying we should vote, or does it not matter?
I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm 19. I don't have an answer.
So go vote. Just go vote. Go rock the vote. Go slap it down and just do your part as an American citizen. People died for you to vote. So just do it. Just do it. Civic duty.
Even if it's a farce.
Civic duty. I mean, it's an outright farce, seeing as the popular vote. I mean, it can influence those in the electoral college, but, you know, they don't always have to go that way either. They can be faithless electors.
I guess. I don't know.
And some states, flat out, it just goes with the electoral college vote. It doesn't. You don't have to go by the will of the people. So, I mean, it's not perfect, and I'm not defending it, but it's just not new. It's not new information.
It is.
We're trying to be informative here.
It is to me because I mean, maybe some young people are watching this. I feel like, to me, as somebody who just is able to participate, like, I'm not paying attention to politics when I can't. My
go
vote
out
don't
and
even
vote
matter.
so you could change all this shit, man.
I think the political process doesn't matter for a young nigga like me in a zip code where people killing each other and we can't even fucking trust the police. Like, and we can't.
More people in those areas should go out and vote.
We can't even get a fucking pothole filled.
A lot of people in those areas think
street.
like you, and then they don't go vote, and then you're underrepresented because you didn't go out and vote because of like this thought. It's a vicious cycle.
Maybe you're right. I don't know what the answer is.
Don't be like, well, we live in poor conditions, so I'm going to give up on the system, but then complain
no, I'm not talking about
has given up on you.
No, I'm saying that the system is broken from the inside out, and for my vote to matter, to get a politician in office who cares about a nigga like me, it'll take a whole fucking just a whole top down rebuilding of the system, and that won't happen. So why participate?
That we're capturing on camera like the virginal realization.
I guess if you want to say that,
like the direct reaction and like the anarchist makings.
But I think it's crazy that you are willing to say, well, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe my vote doesn't matter, but I'm still gonna just go be a fucking sheep.
I mean, who cares if I'm a sheep? I mean, what does it matter for me to stay at home? I mean, does it make me cooler? I mean, who cares?
I don't want to.
What would you get out of me if I stayed at home? Would we both be cool together and we'd fist bump and say we both stay? Like, who cares?
It's not about being cool. It's
matter.
about not participating in a farce. I guess if you
like, what should I say to that to be like, okay, yes, it is broken.
I want to know your feelings on. I mean, you could say that.
Okay, let's get down into it. My feelings on it. Yes, the government is broken. America's on the list of it's probably what, top 5 or top 10 or something like that. It's in a good company of like one of the most corrupt countries. And things are unfair for minorities, for people with marginalized groups,
saying
people
that,
in poor
like,
classes.
oh, what about places that are way worse?
And there are places that are way worse where people are getting murdered.
I love being in America. You know what I'm saying? I love the freedom. I love that I could talk all this shit about the political system and post it on YouTube, and you know what I'm saying? But I just, damn, I had a point. Fuck. I could already see the people saying like, well, just go somewhere else. And it's like, well, no, I would like to fix the country that I live in.
Then the best thing you can do is vote. The problem I would have is that you need more parties for more representation of people, because you don't have enough with the Democrat and Republican parties.
With these red and blue teams and
but
shit.
You have to vote because you don't want somebody who completely goes against your self-interest and the self-interest that you think is for the good of the people. You don't want that just because you're like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. So you want to vote for the lesser of two evils, I guess, if that's the way you see it. If you sit out, then you just sit out and things happen as they may, and you're an observer. And then you work to change things from there. But otherwise, I know that there's a huge portion of the world and society and just existence that I do not control. That I believe that there is a group of 1%, just rich people who make all the decisions for all of us. And this is when we get into those, what I was calling philosophical problems. They're just problems that we can't answer. We don't have the answers to. So you end up just talking in circles around those problems.
No, I'm laying out the problem. Just because I don't have a solution, you know what I'm saying? You have to give me, you keep saying like I should know this, but
you seem like a smart enough guy, and you watch the people who I hear post videos and say this shit all the time.
I keep telling.
I thought you knew.
Every political even a few podcasts ago, every political conversation, I'm hesitant to participate in because I always say I don't really know enough. But now I think I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm able to start making opinions that kind of are concrete and evidence of the political process working against itself. You know, and maybe I should vote. I don't want to say, I'm not saying that I'm gonna completely give up on voting. I just feel like, you know, like, what's the fucking point, bro?
Yeah, you're a teenage boy. Yes, and you will come around one day and just be an adult boy, and you'll just go vote. Like, fuck it. Like, get your I voted sticker.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say that maybe I'm gonna read up a bit more and see if what I'm saying is.
And listen, nobody has to vote. You don't have to vote. I'm not even mad at people who don't vote. I'm not mad at you. Like,
No,
I know some
be.
people. I know some people who get mad and who want to convince. I don't get mad. You can do what you want. If you want to stand, if you want to observe, if you want to participate, it's your life. Who gives a fuck? You're still an American citizen. Not that really matters much. Not that citizenship to any country matters, but I mean, you're still enjoying the freedoms of living in a first world country. So,
like I said,
all that other shit
is
boo-hoo.
A nice place.
Yes, all that shit is boo-hoo. You don't have to follow politics. Some people follow politics. They get real impassioned one way or another about Trump or for Trump. Yeah, you don't have to.
I don't understand these people who think that the president gives a fuck about anybody.
And believe me,
I don't understand these people who think Obama gave a fuck, who think any president gave a fuck.
Don't think any rich people who really probably control shit, who control the puppets that our president's conspiracy demonetized. I mean, listen, just live and try to work within the confines of what you have and do the best that you can do individually, because that's what life is. I just heard somebody say, and it was a real smart thing. I think it was shout out to Joe Rogan. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was on something where it was like the primary meaning of life in a lot of countries outside of first world ones is just to survive. And now, since we have that luxury and we don't have to worry about, do I survive the next 24 hours? You have to really focus in on other things that, in the grand scheme, which politics, I mean, kind of does matter because you want, things around you to be ideal. But, stressing about that shit is shit that's out of your control, ultimately.
No, I'm not stressing about it. I'm just coming to these, like, I'm not thinking about it all day. I'm just, what I'm saying? But not to knock the political process and say it doesn't work sometimes. Like, the most famous thing that I can think of the most famous example I can think of the political process working is like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 with Lyndon B. Johnson and Martin Luther King.
Or even more recent, the gay marriage thing that just passed through the Supreme. I mean, that took work. It took years and decades. And if people said, why should we even try? Because it's already rigged against us, then you never would have had civil rights.
The political process absolutely does work sometimes, and that's why we live
women's rights too.
But
that's the ultimate case of in women's rights, minorities.
Next year will be 100 years.
There was time. There was the system was absolutely rigged, even more than you're talking about now. But you got to keep trying.
I guess so. That was a nice 23 minutes.
Tense.
I just, I was just thinking about that shit. And I'm like, damn, bro, like.
This is why we don't get into politics. What do we look like here?
No, I mean,
what the fuck is this?
And you would say I'm getting mad or enraged.
You were getting very impassioned.
No, because it seemed like you weren't really understanding me, and you were kind of blowing my.
I was understanding you, but I was blowing it off because I was like, shit. Well, what's it to it? But we came around. I gave my opinion on it. I wanted to know where you were going next with this. And I did.
Revolution! Yeah!
That's where it had to be going because you didn't want to vote, but you still want to go on about politics.
We need to storm the Capitol.
Yeah, have fun. Good luck.
I'm gonna be the first one now.
Go ahead and storm that. Break some windows.
R. Kelly bum ass.
Oh yeah, R. Kelly, Robert, Aloysius,
bro.
Lamar.
Stop.
I'm ripping off just plenty of people, but yeah.
Stop giving people middle names that don't exist.
Robert Griffin.
Robert Kelly. R&B legend.
From Chicago.
Convicted rapist.
Yeah, apparently, I don't think he's been convicted.
Arrested rapist. Accused rapist.
Well, no, that's complete differences. We got to be fair to Robert.
Accused rapist.
Right. What? You're going to get sued. Convicted. He's not convicted of anything.
Redact.
Is he is he a legendary statutory rapist? Yes, he's a legend.
Absolutely.
He's in the Hall of Fame. But has he been convicted? No, not yet.
Yeah,
it's coming though. It seems like it's coming.
Dog,
do you think he can get off of this one? He beat one case.
I heard a guy who sounded like he was very on the case, very, very serious about the fact that this time is so much more evidence. It's so much more. The video is actually clear. The evidence is all laid out. We have multiple.
Well, we just watched
from
the
multiple
guy.
women's.
We just watched
women's.
Was this the prosecution's lawyer?
He doesn't want to say that at this time.
Okay, whatever. The guy who was doing the fucking the
Michael
speaking
Avanti,
engagement here,
or Avenatti. Michael Avenatti.
All right.
Yes, he presented the evidence.
He did the press conference here, and he said that there's additional video.
There's a new, very clear video.
It was
Mr. Robert Kelly.
It was pedophilia inception at one point, because it got to the point where it was R. Kelly in a porn, fucking an underage girl, showing an underage girl, fucking R. Kelly in an underage porn. Like, whoa.
And he apparently made reference to her 14-year-old body parts.
Well, and it sounds cut and dry, but I heard somebody say that she said, "I'm 14," and he was like, "Yeah, you're 14."
Yeah,
that sounds a little bit.
That kind of
like,
sound. Yeah, that kind of sound like comical.
Maybe that was part of the kink, though. Like, you're 14. Say you're 14.
But see, that's what he said. That no, this was absolutely, because the defense is, oh, we were role playing, but no, this was absolutely not role play. This was absolute. They were being very serious about the fact that she was underage.
They were role
playing, and that
playing?
He was committing sexual assault.
I guess some people do role play
very
about
casually,
that kind of shit,
very casual sexual assault.
Can they prove that she was 14 in that video?
They said it multiple. He said
even outside of that, do they have the woman?
Michael Avenatti said they referenced her age at least 10 times in the video.
And I'm taking it for everybody out there. We don't need to give any backstory on this. Everybody should know at this point, right? We don't need to go over.
I mean, shit.
So, I mean, the tape back in the day,
2008
the rumors,
case,
the
where
Leah
he got
stuff,
off, which was fucking crazy.
The surviving R. Kelly stuff. I mean, everybody knows about this.
I mean, everybody.
So, but we're talking about the arrest that was made. Do we know when? I think this was over the past weekend. We are in February.
Yeah, he was
2019,
it was
third
10,
week.
10 cases.
Do the math.
10 cases of women over 25 years, and some women who only was with him for a couple months.
What do we say to the contingent of people out there who still like
question the victim's motives?
But what should you have done in this situation?
Yeah,
like, whoa,
you should have came out a long time ago. And it's like,
why didn't they get Harvey Weinstein for it? Like, whoa.
Well, obviously he was up for the bat in 2008, but somehow, some way he got off.
Well, he had a whole league of people coming together to
a league. He had Johnny Cochran plus some.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds crazy though, but yeah. And from a year or two ago, did he the sex cult stuff start coming out where
where he was accused of keeping women in his house against their will?
And the one woman did an interview where she was denying the claims, but then it was like a shadow moving in the background, and that told her, like, when they asked her a certain question, like, and she was like, I can't answer that. Oh, they asked her, where are you? They were like, where are you right now? And then the shadow moves. And then she's like, I can't say where I am. Like, she looks off. I can't say where I am.
That's something so very creepy.
Something weird almost,
like that. That made me kind of scared just now. That's so fucking...
We're glossing over a lot of stuff, actually. What about a few months ago, the I Admit song? 19 minutes of R. Kelly saying the world loves Hugh Hefner. Why can't I be Hugh Hefner? And Hugh Hefner probably did do some weird shit. And if he did, then we should hold him accountable the same. Like, you shouldn't love Hugh Hefner then if he was on some snaky, weird pedophilia.
We don't have 2-3 decades worth of evidence of Hugh Hefner's creepiness.
You might though. Somebody might be like, you don't know about this.
Well, I don't have time for R. Kelly to deflect.
But you chose to speak.
I don't have time for R. Kelly to deflect. No. I don't have time for that.
Let's
focus on Mr. Robert Kelly.
It's pure deflection. So, yeah. I mean, there may be justice coming. He may be the next Bill Cosby, sitting in prison now after 30 years.
I'm about to cut. Well, Bill Cosby and R. Kelly are... We was talking about this before we started rolling, and I think I was making a comparison of who's worse.
Right.
But they're pretty much the same. Just years and years and years of sexual abuse. One with one method, one with the other. At least, I guess... At
least Bill Cosby, I guess,
wasn't preying on kids. That's what I was about to say. Like, I hate to give him anything, but, you know, doing anything to kids is probably, I think, the worst crime against humanity. I mean, honestly. I mean, unless you do, like, a mass fucking shooting or some shit. Like, that's like... But I just think... R. Kelly is a bum ass nigga who should die in prison.
And Mr. Avanti,
yeah, that's
what
he
said. He
said.
will die in prison.
He should, and I'm glad that Mr. Avenatti is on the case, not Avanti. Avenatti.
If this was a Twitter post, somebody would be like, "Who are you to say that he should suffer?" I actually saw this. Somebody was making the case for somebody.
Who are the people? Are those
okay, this was about additional.
Are those the people who would just defend anything? Are those the people who would defend fucking Hitler?
Quick bonus topic. They were talking about TK because TK's manager came out with some statement about his condition in jail or something.
Apparently he on suicide watch or something.
Right. Is he serving life or something?
I don't know.
Like, did he get convicted yet?
Probably a lot of years.
But he's probably facing that, right?
Yeah.
So somebody was like making comments. They were like, why do you got a manager, buddy? This shit's over. Like, what do you still got a manager for? And somebody was like,
because he probably still generated money off of music.
Who are you to say that he should be in solitary confinement and being tortured? And just because you did bad things, I did bad things. Like, did you murder people?
And beat up an old fucking man and then talk about it in a rap like it was nothing?
These are people who are saying you have to have sympathy just for humans no matter what they have done. I guess you need to punish what they've done, but you still need to have sympathy. Even if they murder, like you can't be like them. You gotta rise above.
I appreciate that the niceness. I wanna be such a good person, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm a good person like that to be like, oh, I'm okay. I think we should give the serial murderer and rapist a second chance.
Yeah, why not? Let them move in with you.
I guess that's a
rehabilitate.
I guess that's a theory. Do you think that we can rehabilitate serial murders and rapists and R. Kelly's?
I think it's too late. I think R. Kelly's a little bit too old to just be not. And even if he did, no, fuck that. You still need to be prosecuted for what you did. Like,
no, let's say he served his what is his debt to society.
Which at his age might be he might come out when he physically can't fuck nobody. Like,
gonna look like fucking Bill Cosby when he coming out.
With the
Bill Cosby look fucked up.
That dude, Bill Cosby's appearance makes him look even more villainous. It makes you be like, yeah, you motherfucker.
Yeah, he needs to put like a fucking
that wandering eye thing. Like, yeah, you did it.
Yeah, he needs to put a damn.
I said the same thing with Louis C.K. I'm like, I look at you now, like, yeah, you did it,
bro.
You know you did it, Louis. Like you look like it now. I see. I
see it in your eyes.
I see it in your eyes. You look like you're a dick flasher.
That nigga Bill Cosby needs to put on the Emperor Palpatine hood and just walk around with that shit on.
You look like a serial masturbator, Louis. Can I masturbate in front of you?
Oh my God, no!
Is it okay?
That was in my ears, Kenneth.
Is it okay? All right.
Yeah, we done with R. Kelly. What next?
We really got our shit together here.
Yeah. You want to just hop into it?
Are we hopping into it? I feel like there was one more thing we're missing.
5G demons?
The 5G demons.
5G demons from
coming with the government. Yeah, speaking of the government being corrupt, they're corrupt. They're coming with the 5G fucking demons. And you talking about the vote? They're making 5G technology so they can control your brain and make you all sheep. So don't vote and don't be a sheep, or vote and 5G is gonna make you a sheep. Anyway.
I don't know what the fuck the video I was watching was about. Like,
shout out to Hassan
I remember
Campbell.
years and years ago when the Illuminati videos was popping on YouTube.
Yeah, when it was like, look at Jay-Z's video.
This shit would have millions and millions and millions of views, like, repeatedly on the channel.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how engulfed people can get into shit that has very little evidence. Like, people can watch some YouTube nigga put together clips and then just go crazy conspiratorial. I remember being young and like I was a Christian. Like, I grew up in Christian school, all that shit. And I remember being young and being scared of the Illuminati. Like, ooh,
the Illuminati,
they gonna take over.
The black guys in black trench coats.
And it was mainly, I think, because our sister kind of pushed it on me and was like making me watch this shit, and I was like,
that was goofy back then. I mean, maybe the Illuminati does exist. Maybe it's like some bullshit, but I mean, I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to channel it through Soulja Boy. Like, what the fuck? I mean,
think
the all powerful Illuminati has to put hints in Beyonce videos for fun?
Yeah,
for shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles.
Okay, I remember what we were gonna get to.
Satan himself.
Before we get the Baphomet. Anyway, before we get into Gary Numan.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk
the
about
Pleasure Principle.
We're gonna talk about Lil Pump.
Lil Pump album sales.
Can we get like any? Can we contrast anymore right here? We're talking about Gary Numan or Lil Pump than Gary Numan.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lil Pump. First week.
It's random cuts, bro. I told you, we random cuts.
First week album sales. What's the name of this album? What even?
Harvard Dropout.
Harvard Dropout. That's right.
I listened to a little bit of it. I like. I wish the beat selection was just a little bit more. Had a bit more bite to it. His first project. I love that he like really leaned towards those like almost EDM type synths and like those really like growling 808s that he be having in a lot of like Boss, like a track like Boss, like that shit just like his. But on this album, it felt like it was kind of weak, to be honest. Like
I didn't listen to any of it. I just saw the numbers come out, and
I got a notification from Spotify to my phone to listen to Harvard Dropout. So I was like,
well, that's probably because you listen to Lil Pump at some point. So
yeah,
they just...
no, I listened to a fair amount of Lil Pump.
Right, so they like, oh, you listen to this artist. They do that to me too.
Yeah.
But his numbers for the first week was 47,000. Now I went on Twitter and I saw
45,000.
It was 47. 45 was the last album.
Okay.
The first album,
Yeah.
the one with him on a jet ski or whatever.
That's self-titled.
Self-titled Lil Pump presents Lil Pump.
A mumble rap classic. Shall I say?
If you want to. No, Lil Pump, he's fine. He's fine by me. I'm not taking some old head approach here. But 47,000, I saw people all online going L, flop, like with a bunch of exclamation points.
Get the fuck out of here. He got a millions of dollar deal from Warner Bros. He don't give a fuck about album sales. Like,
I mean, so you're saying this essentially doesn't matter here because I think they're saying if I'm
and Lil Pump is a singles artist. I love it. Probably
no singles artists usually get a fair amount of streams though. The 47,000.
But what is the 47? What is the first week sales including I Love It? Because I Love It is on there and that count towards the album. So that's how the game work nowadays.
This is what's being reported. 40. I mean,
Nicki last album didn't do too well.
Are you saying that 47,000 is without I Love It?
I believe so. That's not what I Love It. I Love It was huge.
And you mean you need a good amount of streams to equal one sale, right? Mm-hmm. 47,000. I don't know how many streams that get you. What if a lot of people stream? What if this is off the back of I Love It almost?
That would mean nobody.
What else was a single from this album? I mean, the I Love It, I'm assuming is like bonus track shit. Butterfly Doors is the only thing I heard.
Yeah, Butterfly Doors was the single. And that was about it, I think.
But people were saying this was an L. I'm not saying it's an L right now. I'm not convinced either way. I think maybe it is low for the push that I think Lil Pump has gotten.
Yeah, Lil Pump
where I feel like he
big
should
machine
be
behind him should.
Because you got you got Gunna and Lil Baby and all these guys who I feel like came out of the cut a few months ago
and just started,
and they sold double what Pump sold, and I don't see them nearly as much just everywhere as I do Lil Pump. So, I mean, either the streets are really behind Gunna and Baby and that fucking YSL Audemars fucking fashion talk, or they're just really not behind Pump. Is the wave over for Pump?
I feel like an artist like Lil Pump doesn't have a cult following. He doesn't have niggas.
I think he does. No, you think he's like casual?
He is nigga for casual listeners.
I think he got the cult mumble following. I think they follow him and see him as like, SoundCloud God.
I don't know. I don't think
I see the reactions from, YouTube people.
Damn, I Love It only had 17,000 first week sales.
So what's going on with Pump, man?
I don't know. And it only did number 6. I thought it was number 1, it seemed like.
Is it concerning?
It seemed like a number 1 because it was everywhere.
Is this an L? It's 47. He had a 2,000 number increase, which is, I guess, it seems small on a celebrity level to only be increasing or decreasing by like 1,000 or 2,000. Yeah,
okay, so let's compare him to his contemporaries.
Who was the Lil Pump contemporary? Who would you say would be the next guy in line?
Okay, you mentioned Gunna already. He sold 70...
I don't think he's a Pump contemporary. He's more of a fashion
after
street.
Pump? I mean,
no, I'm saying who's the contemporary. I'm going off of like people in that lane.
You don't think Gunna and Lil Pump are contemporaries?
Am I missing something? I thought Gunna was the fucking
I'm talking fashion. Contemporary means time. That's
contemporary.
Time.
I mean, you got to be in the similar lane too.
Are they not?
I don't think so. I don't think there's a huge crossover between Pump fans and Gunna fans. Is there? I feel like a lot of Lil Pump fans are like a lot of white kids wearing Supreme. I feel like Gunna fans are a lot of like hood dudes.
I guess
who want to brag about Da Vinci and Versace.
I guess you're kind of right, but I think there's a cross section. I think
there's a smaller cross section. Over Pump and Gunna and Lil Baby. I think they more on the hood side and Pump is more on the white kid side.
Well, Kalani, she only sold 25 to 28,000.
Like contemporaries, you wouldn't go and say The Clash is the contemporary to motherfucking Hall and Oates because they were around the same time.
I think that's exactly what you would say.
No, you say The Clash are contemporaries with like Sex Pistols.
The word contemporary refers to time period.
The word contemporary, as I know it, while I may refer to time period, also tries to link someone who's in a similar category and lane.
I think Lil Pump and Gunna are similar enough.
Like you wouldn't say Hall and Oates and The Clash are contemporaries.
Yeah, Offset. So it seems like Gunna is hot right now because he's doing the same numbers as Offset. Offset sold 82,000 and he did 80,000.
Yeah, so there you go. That's our update on Lil Pump, so we don't get too lost in the Lil Pump sauce over here.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. Let's move on.
All right, so let's get into it.
Actually, I need this.
Let's get into it. Gary Numan, The Pleasure Principle.
The Pleasure Principle by Gary Newman.
1979?
72?
Oh.
I thought it was, or maybe you're right. I thought it was 72. Maybe I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, maybe. But 10-track album originally. Spotify versions come with a few
15, 17 tracks or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. And then if you go to the expanded, remastered whole deal, you get a whole CD full of demos and everything, which we kind of brushed over. But Gary Numan, a legendary synth pop, electronic guy from the 80s.
I mean, I think he's nice.
You this especially resonates with you because you were just getting into a lot more synth pop right before we got into this.
I've always liked, electronic sounds, but more contemporary, more like guys like Igloo Ghost and Flying Lotus and guys like that who have a little bit of hip hop flavor to them. And I can get a bit more pure electronic with guys like FX Twin and shit like that, but
synth pop is a whole new realm right
I'm
here.
just now, you know what I'm saying, it's a bit older, it's more 80s.
Well, there's still synth pop today. I mean, there's still people making synth pop, but
I guess
but it's different. And I mean, the electronic map of all styles of electronic and electronica and all that, they branch off pretty wide like any other genre. So, Gary Numan over here with synth pop and some early like Devo and all that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily sound like Aphex Twin or something like right. It's two different whole realms. Yeah. So this is kind of a new area you're going into.
I'm just saying, like, to relate, like, the electronic sounds that I'm usually more familiar with, and now I'm just now getting into some synth pop, new wave, post-punky bullshit.
Yeah, you got your little synthesizer thing over there. Right?
Yeah, I just bought the Korg Monotron delay for anybody who like gear and all that bullshit. This motherfucker powerful. It's nice.
Yeah, so getting into this, Gary Numan, my familiarity with him before this was, of course, You Got Cars.
Yeah.
Big hit record.
It's crazy how big that record was. I didn't think, it seemed like, I don't know. It seemed like this album had different records that I would pick for a single. It doesn't seem like the most compelling one.
It was the big hit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's coming from a different time period too. I mean, that's early 80s. So maybe that was the big runaway single. I mean, maybe it was right to be the single. It was the most probably pop accessible song.
Yeah.
1979 Pleasure Principle. Should we just kick it off of I'll let you kick it off, actually.
You mean just track by track?
However you want to do it, actually.
Well, I like the first half. I usually listen to albums in fractions, usually first half, second half. And Airlane, it's a nice opening. It feels kind of, it could be my problem with this song, and a more general problem I have with the album as a whole, is that it could be kind of dragged out and maybe a bit boring at points because...
And before we get super far into this, we also have to say this is his debut album from '79. This is the first album.
I thought he had a punk history.
Well, he was in Two Boy Army, which was a band before this, which... and he may have some punk history from what I know. I think from what I've heard of Two Boy Army is similar to some of what he's doing here. But this is his debut solo album. But back to what we're talking about in here. You know what? I'm going to agree with you in that sense that I thought that, especially on first listen, the first half of this album, I think it really warmed up towards the end, but that first half, I feel like drug a little bit. It took a while to get to those songs that I was either familiar with or the songs that had a good groove that I wanted to bob my head to.
Yeah.
In the beginning of this thing, and it's not entirely true because when I went back and I listened a second or third time, I got more into some of those earlier tracks. But I feel like this album could have been best served if you rearranged the track listing to make it flow a little bit better.
Yes. And not only that, I feel like you said it drug a little bit. Individual songs drug a little bit where maybe he could have chopped this fucking transitional section, this bridge off, and just ended the song, or he could have fucking what was the track? I don't want to go. I guess it don't really matter if we go too much in order.
I mean,
but it was goddamn it, Conversation. I love Conversation. But it's just he could have condensed it a bit. He could have brought those strings that come towards the end of the track in a little bit earlier, and had his verses just not so spaced in between these weird like long ass choruses. I just
see. I don't know. That's the part. And until I looked at this track listing, I didn't notice that Conversation was like 7 minutes. But I vibe with Conversations so hard that I don't even notice that it's just like.
It kind of drug on me a bit.
That it keeps going.
But I like the song. It just drug a little bit too long. Same with Cars, even though it's not even that long.
The songs I really liked, I think, are the songs that had some groove in it. There were songs that groove was completely just absent, where it felt like he would hit one of those synth notes and just hold that shit down like and there'll be other sounds around that. But those were some of the more boring songs, the ones that had instrumentals. I enjoy Gary's singing. I enjoy
it had a lot of character.
What it brings to the track.
Yeah.
Some of the more boring songs were the instrumentals that just felt spacey, and I know that's what he's going for.
His voice really filled that space and really gave the track something to stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no guitar on this album, no electric guitar. It's all synthesizer.
Which I thought was weird because I thought I heard a lot of electric guitars, and he did a decent job at making at filling that space with synths only. Even though at certain points in the album, I just felt like I'm tired of hearing the same synth. But it's the 70s. They don't have fucking
early
a lot
80s.
A lot of virtual synths with 80 different presets like I do. So I'll give him that.
I mean, from what I'm knowing, I mean, things were still relatively new. A lot of his, I think, work maybe on here was, or some of it at least, was inspired by Kraftwerk, which we had kind of gotten into a little bit, which were like innovators in the electronic genre. So this wasn't even super far removed from Kraftwerk, from, things coming in. So, but otherwise, I think...
Yeah, apparently he used a lot of the same synths as Kraftwerk, but a lot of niggas was probably using a lot of the same synths.
Right.
So
but this album would have flowed better with the track listing mixed up a little bit and have some of those songs that were great, groovy, just earworms.
Yeah.
Had them more up at the... have like one at the top, space, one... because you could have done that. There are a number of good records, and that's why the second half of this album heats up so much, because you get good track after good track after good track eventually.
Yes. Yeah, I think around Films is when it heats up. Is when, because Films is my favorite song on the project. I just love...
You're right. You're completely right. Well, no, not even... Yeah, Films. You're right.
I love the groove in what he does with the synths, and I think a lot of his production choices are really nice with the panning of different synths, and not only that, but like kind of filling out the space with a hard pan synth in the left monitor, one in the right monitor, and kind of just has this very lush background, which is goes back to a very sparse organic drum beat, which I really like a lot, because I know a lot of these songs, it seemed like a lot of guys would just throw a drum machine in there, but he uses both, which is really, really cool.
So looking at it like Airlane, first track on the album, sounded good, but it sounded like it should have been like an interlude in the middle.
Yeah,
from one fleshed out song to another. It should have been in the middle. And
Airlane didn't give me a lot of hope.
And not the opening. It shouldn't have been the opening, I don't think. That's Metal, I think, was good.
You know what should have been the opening?
What's that?
Tracks.
Maybe, but I would even settle if Metal was just the opening. Like if you just like get Airlane somewhere else.
Metal was excited, and Metal is very excited, and I think I don't know if it started with Metal, it would just I don't know maybe Metal would be a good start.
I would even settle for that, but then you get to Complex, which is the third one. I feel like Complex brings what's already like okay, I'm getting into it to a kind of a halt because it's kind of a short song, 3 minutes 12 seconds. It feels pretty short, but it kind of slows things down.
Mm-hmm.
I think, which is like not where you want to be because usually I think you want an album to get off to a good start.
Yeah, at least
it seemed like it came off to a random start.
Yes, personally, I prefer an album to just drop. Like certain albums, I can get if it take a bit of time. Like even if the first song isn't the drop, the second song better hit, nigga. Like that's just how I prefer it.
Yeah, so, and Films is when it starts heating up. So, the whole theme around this album is like dystopian, robotic, future type of themes. I
looked up the lyrics a little bit. It was just, it was so, and that's one conversation that we didn't have. Maybe we could, we're not gonna do that. The lyrics are so abstract. And
I mean, you like that.
I like it.
You like Death Grips and all that.
Yeah, I like it, but it's just, I don't know. Like I'm having a hard time putting it together. I feel like you said it at the top of the review. This album takes it's a acquired taste in a lot of cases.
It may be.
This song, however, was not.
Which one is this film?
This film.
And Films is where it really starts heating up at. It's a really good song, and from there things go off to a great start. M.E. Mm-hmm. I would say me, but it's M.E. there.
That song took a few listens, but I like it now.
That song immediately grabbed me. First off, it's a famous sample. You probably most famously in the Basement Jaxx song. The Where's Your Head at? Dun, dun, dun.
That's cool.
You know what song I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
But that was most famously sampled in there. Great song. I love that. This is when you start getting into those rocking, grooving, hard hitting, those type of.
Yeah, the bass line or the whatever the fuck they was using for the bass on Conversation was excellent. I just love how it just growls and really fills up that sub load that I feel like a lot of tracks at the time didn't really even it didn't really serve that, but it really like.
And while it's on my mind, when did the app go from like free to $3.99? Because I wanted to get that so I can look for the samples, but the app is like now $3.99. I thought this was free back in the day.
What app?
Who Sampled?
Oh hell no! I'm not paying for Who Sampled. I'm gonna just go to the website.
Did you ever have the app on your phone?
No, never.
You never had that?
I just go to the website.
I don't remember it being $3.99.
No, they can eat a dick.
I think it's because it has some function where it can go through your playlist and pull samples out of songs you have in your playlist.
Maybe they should have in-app purchases, but no, I don't know. Fuck that.
But anyway, while I'm on here, I'm looking for that. Okay, so this is the one that it was the famous sample. And you can already tell straight from the jump. This is a Basement Jaxx. And that's basically the song. They made it a little harder, put some different drums around it. But that one basically. So this is a familiar song. I really love this version of it with the Gary. I mean, I didn't know that this was it, but I knew it right when I heard it. Like, oh yeah, that's that Basement Jaxx thing. But this was a great song. The song afterwards, which is, do we know?
What song are you talking about?
On the Tracks. Okay, Tracks. What did you think about Tracks?
I thought like I said, I thought it should have been an opening. I thought it was very inviting. I thought like and then it got to a certain point where, like you said, a lot of these songs got into a very like groove. It wasn't like a super standout, especially coming right in between me and Observer, because Observer is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
but I think it was nice. I'd give it a 7.
Like the track individually.
Yeah.
Observer, I think, was pretty good too. I mean, it was in the string. It's not as strong as probably some of the songs around it.
Especially Conversation.
I mean, you got Emmy. You got tracks. Yeah, Observer, I think, is the maybe more transitional between two things.
I thought Observer was pretty good.
This probably would have been a good place to put Airlane as a buffer in between conversation.
You're right. You're totally right.
You probably could have put Airlane right there.
Totally right.
And then you got Conversation, the epic 7-minute saga.
Which could have been 5 minutes.
But that shit hits so hard in there, just like in Emmy. It's something like that.
The analog synth sound of this album is.
It sounds ahead of its time, actually.
Yeah, it's very dirty at times, but it could also be kind of clean. And it was
and you
one
feel
song.
it. You really feel it.
It was one song where just because I like the album, so I'm kind of purposely being a bit negative about it. It was one song that just had a synth on it with a tone that was just grating. I did not like it. It was one song that was just like, please turn that shit off. Like, well, who the fuck let that get past mastering and mixing and all that shit? Like, no, please. I wish I could say what song it was, but please, no. That shit was trash.
Just not nah. Okay.
That synth was just grating. That's the worst part of the album, honestly. I honestly want to find it because no.
What track was this again?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was like
you repressed it.
Yes, I want to. I think it was. I don't know. I think it was maybe it was one of the tracks that I kind of liked. I just didn't like that at all. It was kind of trash.
Okay, so
that was one of the few mistakes that was like that memorable.
Yeah, so after Conversation, which was the longest track on the album, most songs are average around 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. But Conversation, we got Cars, which we kind of talked about.
Yeah, I
like
thought
it.
That song was like
it's
I said,
iconic song.
If I thought it's not even that long. I think it's like 3 minutes or something. And
it's 3:58.
Yeah, it seemed too long to me. It could be a good 2.
It could be a good 2.
Yeah,
need to find the radio edit.
Yeah.
Engineers, I like that one. I think it was a good ending track. Even though I didn't know when I listened to it was the ending track because you have those additional ones. So and you have some of them that reveal themselves as additional ones because it'll be like demo or whatever here. But on then you Spotify, have some that
they kind of just include the bonus tracks from Disc 3
right
on Broadway, which I thought was really nice.
But to be honest, here let's not skip over Engineers. Yeah, what
I thought Engineers resolved the album really well.
Yeah, I think it was a good wrap up.
Yeah, I thought it felt like the end. It like I said, the album was kind of dragging to me on my first listen a little bit, but once I listened to it a second time, I got to Engineers and I felt like it was over. Like
it closed out a good second in, but this is what I'm going to suggest, as we've been saying. Move Airlane somewhere into the middle as a buffer between when the songs are really hot. Delete probably cut Complex.
Yeah. Fuck it. Take Complex off. I thought it was cool.
I would keep Metal. You can keep Metal.
You need Metal, nigga.
You can keep Metal.
You need Metal.
Metal's good.
I think Metal is a must-have.
Complex seems, and I may have to listen to it. It seems unfinished or something.
You could throw it away.
So throw that away.
It's okay.
Switch Airline around, and you got a really good album. You still have a really good album.
But
these are just some of the problems.
And then like I said, cut some of those sections short. In the album, in the song a bit earlier, nigga. Like some of these songs just feel dragged out to me a bit. But and it feels like too structured where it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it just get boring sometimes.
And I think that's really because a lot of the most boring songs come back to back in the front. The first 3 songs are question, like that's a rough way to open the album.
It take a while to heat up.
That's a rough way to open the album with those 3 tracks in succession because those are 3 of the weaker tracks on the album.
Metal is nice, bro,
but it's still one of the weaker tracks. When you throw it in there with Emmy tracks, Conversation, Cars, Engineers, it's one. You may swap out Cars. Maybe you like Metal more than Cars, but still, it's one of the weaker tracks. And when you open up with one track that sounds like it could be an interlude, the third track that sounds like it needs to be cut. And then Metal, it's like, whoa, we're getting off to a rough start. Why don't you open up with Cars or something then? Just, I mean, or something. Just something that has an immediate punch that you like, I'm in.
Yeah.
But then when you get around to the bonus tracks, which were added on here, I think some of those are better than some cuts that made it on the album.
On Broadway is fire.
Random was fire to me. Was that an instrumental? I think, but it
was just instrumental.
It was something I'm like, oh, bring that back.
Yeah.
I like that. I liked Random a lot. Oceans was good.
I don't remember Oceans. I don't remember the Oceans.
Asylum, which was the B-side of Cars, apparently. It sounds like it's a horror movie of the time. Jason in the Friday. Not that specifically, not knee.
But it's giving you that vibe. It's giving you that horror movie half step type of vibe.
It's exactly that. It's the epitome of that. Ding! It's the epitome of that time. So I mean, that's exactly what it was. So I mean, I don't think there's much more to it, since we're already demonetized. This is.
It's not like a good juxtaposition to Cars.
This is not gonna drop into some song. It's just this, and like that mood.
Oh.
So like, yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's Asylum. It's there.
I like if it went into a song, it would.
It's a true bonus track.
Yeah.
Me, I Disconnect From You, which was apparently loud, but it sounded good to be a loud one. Bombers, Remember I Was Vapor. This is where I kind of get a little fuzzy.
I think On Broadway was the best bonus track.
I'd have to go back and listen to On Broadway, but
I remember it really well. It caught my attention. It was very. I think it was like, damn. It was nice. Shit.
Overall, the album, while not what I expected from knowing some of the more fire tracks from it, from listening to the whole album and thinking that, hey, I'm gonna get like a lot more fire. I mean, you did, but it was a little slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
But overall, it was good, and it was a good introduction to Gary Numan, and probably a good introduction to some 80s synth pop.
Yeah, I might follow up.
Because when you get even further into the rabbit hole, into time, things just get way better. Things pick up because you get, more
advanced technologies and
whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I'm excited probably to even listen to some more Gary Numan, some later albums. I know I like Two Boy Army, so I'm more excited to listen to some later, the next album after this.
Yeah, I would recommend this to anybody. I mean, I feel like should
we disgrace it with a rating?
If you want to.
Should we do like an out of 10?
I'll give it a 7.
I'll give it a good 7.
I'll give it
maybe
6.5.
6.5.
I
don't know if that.
I think 7 is perfect.
I don't think that's disrespectful because it's like it's like 4 or 5 tracks out here that really stand out of
10.
Out of 10. So I mean,
I think 4 or 5 standouts out of 10 is good.
But the standouts are really good.
It's all about hits versus misses to me. It don't gotta necessarily stand out. It just gotta be able to be like, okay, that was nice.
Okay, not even about stand out, because not every track needs to stand out in a way, because if they all stand out, then how many of them really stand out?
Sometimes you got all of them standing
out. But it was just that rough pacing at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what really
down.
That's what really knocks off those.
They're still good songs, but don't open it up.
That's
Give
what
me
really
some energy.
Makes me not say 8 is the rough start. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which is why I might even go 6. Because I mean, we got this 10-point scale. I mean, I don't want most albums to fall under 8, 7 point. Because
most albums are.
There's a lot of albums that could be 4s and 5s.
Most albums are like a 5.
So I'll give it that. But Gary Numan, I'm happy about it. Dude, we should listen to. We should get into some more. When you're in the synth pop realm, you gotta get into some more Devo. They got a little ton of albums.
I was just fucking with what's the album cover with the yellow shit on it?
Well, that's the first album. The Whip is not on that album.
Or not Whip It, but
Are We Not Men? We Are Devo.
It's a lot of joints on there. It's so many.
That's a classic album.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
That's a class. We should review it, but it's a classic album.
We should
from
get
front
around
to back,
to
damn
it.
near.
I really fuck with that album.
But they have good joints on other albums that I haven't listened to front to back either. So I mean, you can get into that. Oingo Boingo, or and really, when you get into the 80s, a lot of people start doing that synth stuff anyway. So you can it's a lot of popular bands that you can find of the time too. So I enjoyed it. But next time, I think it's on you.
I don't know. I do not know.
This is why you got to come up with your methods. Like me, I spin the wheel.
Yeah. I mean, I could.
Oh, you're gonna go through he's going through the vinyls just to keep everybody informed. He's flipping through them right now.
Yeah, I
to figure things out.
I had an album in mind. I just don't really remember. We could do the new James Blake album because it's new.
Oh God.
Whoa, you don't want to do James Blake?
Oh God. Oh God.
I think we just did an old album. We should do a new album. We should do a current album that people would like to see a review for now.
I don't know. I'm hesitant on like having these male singers sing in my ear. Nothing like real concrete. No toxic masculinity. But like,
oh my God.
Dude, I'm really like, I don't know. I'm not against male singers, but in the style that I think I know James Blake. Like, this is like you asking me, like, let's listen to some Ed Sheeran album.
Bro, oh my God.
I put them somewhere in the same thing to me. I don't know. I haven't listened to a lot of James Blake, so maybe I'm out of order. Maybe I didn't know what I meant, but I chose to speak anyway.
James Blake is an excellent producer.
But this is like maybe go listen to some Justin Timberlake, some pop like dude. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
we agree too much on this episode. We're gonna review James Blake just because of how much you don't want to review it.
Like, I listen to Fantano so much, I'm like, I gotta go listen to Father John Misty.
I fuck with Father John Misty.
And I was not, heavy. I'm like, this fucking folk dude.
He has really good songs and really good writing.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
You're objectively wrong. Yes.
I'm objectively wrong.
Objectively.
Is that good?
Like, fact.
Oh.
Nigga.
It's not subjective.
No, nigga, it's fact. You're wrong.
It's facts that what James Blake is like.
Is an excellent producer, and Father John Misty is an excellent producer and writer. And James Blake, dog.
That's facts.
Facts, nigga.
That's it's
We're reviewing James Blake next week because this nigga don't know what the fuck he talking about. Assume form, James Blake next week.
I don't know, man. We're doing it, but
we're doing it.
I don't know if I'll like it.
We done.
We're done. Goodbye.
All right, I gotta go. I think that was a good episode.
Yeah. We're getting better.